Okay, so no injury updates as of yet. Players are getting in at the moment and meeting with our training staff. We'll have those as we get those later in the week. Um, and then, just to recap the game, I thought that, defensively started out well with a couple three and outs. That was really good to see. And then really offensively, when we get the ball into the scoring zone there early on, like we did, we got to do a good job of punching that in for touchdowns. We got to really look at, the negative plays that we have on some of those drives, that be it by penalty or sack. And then really just doing a good job of keeping that in there. And again, that's the coach's responsibilities to be able to put our guys in position. And that starts with me. And we got to do a really good job with that. We're looking on exactly what we need to improve on. And that to me starts with the run game on offense and in defense. And that to me, everything falls off of that. We have to do a really good job of establishing that. And that's where you get your play action passes, and that's where you get your, play action screens and putting yourselves in a good position to execute on third down if you get to that. And so that's what we're taking a hard look at today, among other things. But defensively, I don't think we stopped the run very well. Certainly, in that third quarter when we needed to, they had that long drive in the third quarter to exhaust a bunch of time off there. And so we need to do a better job there in terms of the overall run defense and limiting those explosives as we go forward. And that's where everything starts. That's the foundational piece. And we have to do a good job there. We've been doing a good job with the ball. Right now, as we sit, we're 4-4, and we're +7 in that category. So that's got to continue to be a positive for us. The explosive plays, getting explosive plays obviously leads to scoring. So we have to look and see how we can generate those and put our talent and our skill in position to do that. As I said, the run averages, have to be on point. And then obviously, our sack total has been good, but it could be better. And I think on offense, we got to do a really good job of limiting those. When we had success on offense, we've limited those the sack total number and the sack yards number. So that's again about not putting us behind the sticks in that regard as well. We had some critical penalties. Obviously, the leverage play, that was a 4-point play right there. We got to continue to address those. And making sure that we play clean in that operation in terms of the penalty part of it. But so again, we're connected. We're staying together. We're doing a good job of finding answers. We got to have to come up with a plan, and then the process to practice those and implement those during the course of the week, and then execute those on Sunday. Again, it was a disappointing loss yesterday, and we have to do a good job of finding answers to improve this week. With that, I'll take questions.
First question, Jason Leisure.
Matt, I have two questions. My first one is, are you going to change offensive play caller, and why or why not?
No, and we're looking to find answers, and that's where we're at as a collectively, as a group, offense and defense, and we'll go through that process here today, tomorrow, and then implement that plan on Wednesday.
How do you determine big picture here then? This is related to what I just asked you, but it's a broader question. How do you determine whether to stay the course, as you've mentioned a lot in the last few years, or to make some changes to get different results?
Yeah, the changes we're going to make is we're going to look inward and making sure that we do a good job of utilizing our talents and our skill and really just general basic execution, of our plan. And we have to make sure we're doing that going forward. And we'll put that plan into place here in the next 48 hours.
Mark Potash. Adam Johns.
Hey Matt, after you talked yesterday after the game, Caleb Williams said that he didn't think that the team got over the Hail Mary quick enough last week. Yeah, I think his exact words were move on quicker. I'm curious to if you heard what he said, what you think about what he said, and maybe looking back, could you have done anything differently to help the team move on from that Hail Mary?
Yeah, I think it's important to move on every single week. It's important that we abide by the 24-hour rule and we move on. And this week is no different. Win or lose, you got to move on to the next week. And again, you got to find answers for improvement every single week. It's never going to be perfect, even when you win by 20 or win by a couple or lose like we did yesterday. You have to find answers and move forward to the next week. That's the way this league is. We got to do a good job of it this week, for sure.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Matt, when you talked to Ryan Poles, after the game or about this game, what was kind of the vibe of that conversation? And was it just business as usual, or did you get any indication that his level of concern is greater about the direction of this team than any other week?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you lose two in a row in the NFL, there's always a heightened sense of urgency because you have to get that win column back, and that was no different than earlier in the year we had lost a couple in a row, and it's really the same. We have to find answers and find solutions to where we are right now. We moved in the right direction for 3 weeks, and in the last couple, we got to make sure that we have to find answers right now moving into this week. And again, like I said, we don't have a lot of time. We got less than 48 hours before we practice. We got to do a good job of really, before the players get back in the building, we got to do a good job of finding those answers.
Brittany Cronin.
Hey, Matt, last night you talked about why Caleb was in the game down late, you wanting to get some work in for him and the timing of the 2-minute operation. How much does pass protection have to factor into that, knowing that, Darnell was out of the game and you were already down to the third string left tackle, and just how much more difficult that made it on Caleb in those last 5 plays?
Yeah, it's the starters are left in the game because we're going to fight to the end, and those guys did a nice job with that on defense. Offense, we're working operation, like I said, and again, it's got to come down to that, and where that is in terms of that. So I think it's important that we just have that mentality going forward.
Mark Gertie.
One really quick question, then a slightly longer question, Matt. Was Ryan Poles on board with that, with Caleb being in there at the end of the game per your conversation, your usual conversations with him after the game? Was he all good with that?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into private conversations with Ryan in terms of exactly what was said or not said. We're always on board for getting better, and we're always on board for competing to the very end. I will tell you that. So next part of your question.
Yeah, the other part, Matt, was it seems to me that Caleb Williams has been struggling at least the last 2 weeks relative to what he had been doing. From your perspective, what are you seeing from Caleb Williams? And could you share with us what Shane Waldron has told you in terms of what he is seeing from Caleb Williams right now?
Yeah, so offensively, it just as a whole group, we have to make sure that we don't take negatives to put us behind the sticks, and that could be by penalty, or could be by sack, or could be a TFL, because the percentage of you scoring there across the league, it diminishes, right? So those things have to get taken care of first. And that's a whole team thing in terms of offensive team. So that's number one. And then obviously getting productive plays, those could be, a pass play like you saw the first play of the game. That was a productive play to DJ, or just productive plays in general. We got to make sure that we're committed to the run and stay committed to the run. So we make sure we establish that so we can utilize the whole gamut of our offense, that comes off of that run game. The play actions, like I said, the play action screens, the movement passes, all those things come off of that. And it's important that we do that. And then we start to incorporate different parts of our offense, the tempo side of it, the no huddle, all those things that we do, and which generate big plays as well.
Adam Hogue.
Hey, Matt, there was a play early on, I think it was the second down on the first drive of the game, where DJ walked off the field while Caleb was still scrambling around. What was your understanding of what was going on there?
I'm not sure the exact play, but I do know that one play that he stepped out of bounds, and I think the side judge threw his hat out. He was out. So I believe that's what happened. Again, I'll have to watch the play specifically, but I think that might be the play you're talking about.
So are they taught to, in that situation, just stay off the field then from that point on, just to eliminate any confusion?
Well, yeah, I mean that's what it was. Again, I don't know exact play what you're talking about, but somebody did make a comment to me. I have to go back and look at it.
Okay.
Ryan Baker. Jason Leisure.
Matt, you mentioned a couple times yesterday and today being 4-4, and that is better than the last two seasons. But do you feel that's where this roster should be? Do you think that's good enough with this roster?
Well, I just know that's where we are, Jason. That's where we are, and that's where it is, and that's what we have to work from. And that's the reality of the situation that we're in. Again, we're a growing team. We're an improving team. I know we haven't improved the last couple of weeks in terms of the win-loss column, but we have to continue to find answers and continue to improve to where we are in the season. And we're 4-4. We're halfway through, and we got to do a good job of finding answers, coming into the Patriots week.
Can I follow up on that? You say improving team. What exactly is improving right now?
Well, like I said, we had it's not linear. We talked about that. We had 3 wins in a row, and again, there's still good things that we're doing. We're still good with the football. We've been doing a great job with that. We've done a good job of playing, complementary football at times. But again, the last couple of weeks, we just got to make sure that we do a good job of finding answers coming into this week coming up. And that's the only week we can't control is this week right here.
Ryan Baker.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. You mentioned that you're connected and staying together, but there seems to be a growing amount of noise from the outside. How do you keep the team focused and connected and on the same page and try to regain control of the situation, even though you're 4-4, but things aren't looking or feeling very good right now?
Who am I speaking with?
That's Ryan Baker.
Okay. Yeah, just rely on the men in the room. Like I said to the guys after the game, it's all going to be about us. It's going to be about the men in the room and the character and the toughness and the determination that each guy has and collectively we have as a football team. And you rely on that, and that's what you can rely on is the people that we brought into the building. And really, that's all we need. And we got to do a great job of coming together, staying connected, and doing a good job of the execution and improving on the aspects we need to improve on.
How much pressure are you feeling?
Sorry.
How much pressure are you feeling today?
Like I said, every week, this is a week-to-week league. It's important that we stay focused on this week and the improvements for this week and stay dialed into those improvements. And then we put that plan into place in practice, and that's what we can focus on.
Last question, Adam Johns.
Hey, Matt, to kind of follow up on Jason's earlier question, after 8 games, what's your evaluation of Shane Waldron's play calling and performance at this point in the season? And I guess, where is your confidence in him moving forward rooted in?
Yeah, so, the confidence is high, and, it's been our season, right? Our season's been, we've won some, and then, we've lost some. We're sitting at 4-4, so right now that's where we are. And it's important that we focus on this week, and that's all we can control, and doing a better job of putting our guys in position as coaches to be successful. And that's ultimately my job and the coordinator's job, secondly. So it's important that we do a great job of that with the position coaches, partnering up with the players and put those guys in position to succeed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Hello, how y'all doing?
We are good. We're about to get started with some questions for you. Whoa. Mark Grody.
Hey, Rome. I just wanted to ask you about the first drive because it started off really well, including your own 17-yard completion. You guys got it down to their 39, but then eventually backed up to the 50 and had to punt. And I know you guys have been trying to figure out that first drive for a while. What have you been able to figure out about the first drive? Is there a settling down process that occurs as the game goes on? What is your theory on why the slow starts, particularly on the first drive?
I'm not sure. I mean, it definitely feels like at this point, as our offensive execution is sort of a settling in, which, at the end of the day, we need to get rid of. We need to be ready to play and ready to score points from drive one, from play one. And I think we've gotten ourselves into some negative plays scenarios in those instances, and had flashes of great success on the first drive too. So we need to sustain that all the way to the end zone. So we can start fast and set the tempo for the game.
Nick Moriano.
How's it going, Rome? Just after watching the film, what's the most frustrating part? Just watching the offense in its totality, what you guys couldn't do against the Cardinals yesterday.
Um, I'm not sure. I think it's just a lack of execution in certain instances, and then negative plays. Stripping our drives, and I think those things, gotta get rid of all those things and be able to execute for a whole entire drive. I think there continues to be flashes and great things within the drive that we need to continue to build on and play through and even play through some of the plays that don't go our way. Sometimes it's not going to go your way every single time you go out there on the field. So we need to be able to overcome some of those scenarios and make a play so that way we can put some points on the board.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Rome. I know outside noise is of no concern of yours as a Bears player, but I'm just curious, as a first-time guy who's just kind of learning about the passion of Bears fans, are you even aware of like of the outside no or the noise outside the Halas Hall? People calling for Matt Eberflus to be fired, people calling for Shane Waldron to be fired, and just the vehement frustration with this team. Does any of that, in this day and age, does any of that seep into you?
Not at all. I'm not worried about anything that anybody outside of this building has to say. Honestly, I love the fans and I love the support of them. But when it comes to their criticisms and their calling of people to get fired, I don't pay too many attention to that at all. I believe in everybody in this building to get this job done, week in and week out. So we just need to come together and tighten up the screws a little bit and be able to execute those things come on Sunday. So those are things I don't pay attention to.
But do you? I guess my question is, are you able to, in this day and age, are you able to insulate yourself from that, or do you at least hear that? Do you know it exists?
I don't got Twitter or nothing. I don't really go on social media to go look at, people criticizing the organization. So, I don't hear it, but there's always sources like yourself letting me know that those things are going on. So of course I'm not naive to those things going on, but I hear it, but I don't hear it, if you know what I mean. It's things that I pay no mind to and have no sort of priority in my train of thought.
Thank you.
Nathan Leisure.
Rome, on that subject, what is the conversation and frustration inside the building? How do the offensive players feel right now about the way this is going?
Of course, we're not happy. We're not happy with it. I think, we expect a lot more from ourselves and this unit as a whole. And those are things we need to correct immediately. And it starts with the details. And, today, Monday, going into this week, preparing for the Patriots and being locked in on all the details of our job and as a unit as a whole. At the end of the day, it takes all 11 doing their job to perfection to have one successful play. So everybody needs to, hone in on those things and collectively come together, have that belief in one another that we can get the job done. And I believe we can.
Can I follow up on that? Cole Kmet said yesterday that as far as execution problems, you really don't expect to have that after about week 2 or 3 with all the offseason work. Why do you think that disconnect between Shane's offensive scheme and you guys' execution of it still exists halfway through the season?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can pinpoint exactly what it is. I think we have glimpses of it here and there. I think we have glimpses of the success that we can have. I think it's a consistency aspect to it. I think we need to consistently, be on our A game and be able to execute play in and play out through 4 quarters. And I think we need to have that belief as well that through the rough times, through rough patches in the offense, that we can overcome those things within the game. It's never going to be a perfect drive or exactly how defense, is lined up, how the play, is supposed to go. But, having the willpower and the confidence that we can overcome those things regardless of the situation with the stars that we have on this team, I think is really important for our identity going forward.
Mark Grody.
Rome, Matt Eberflus has talked about how it's incumbent upon him and Shane Waldron to put you guys in the right position to succeed. Specifically with Shane Waldron, do you feel like he is putting you guys in the best possible position to succeed?
I think Shane's doing a great job. I think he is, consistently, working his tail off to put us in the right positions, and it's a tough position, to be in as an offensive coordinator. There's, a lot of different aspects you have to think about, but I know through his work ethic, he's doing his best to put us in the best situations and best circumstances to have success. So, I have full confidence in Shane and what he's able to do. We just all need to come together and buy into that plan and buy into that belief in one another from coaches, players within players, coaches within coaches to have that success.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Rome.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
How's it going?
All right, we can go ahead and get started, you guys. Please raise your hands. Mark Grody.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for doing this as always. Matt Eberflus talked about the need for the coaching staff to put you guys in the right position to succeed. Do you guys feel like you are being put in the right positions to succeed on the field right now?
I mean, regardless of of those things, I think that whatever is being called on the field as players, we have to go out there and execute, right? There's never going to be a perfect call. So at the end of the day, whatever's called out there, it has to be executed by the players. And when plays work and things like that, and players execute certain calls, coaches look like geniuses. You know what I mean? And then when they don't work, then everybody's questioning, what should have been called and things like that. So I just think just as a defense, and especially speaking on just yesterday, we obviously just didn't play well. And we didn't execute the things that we needed to execute. And most of it was just simple ball. It wasn't nothing crazy.
Thank you.
Adam Hoke.
Yeah, Kevin, just coming off of that, like as one of the leaders on this team, what was your diagnosis kind of 24 hours later, looking back at the film and everything about why you guys kind of came out as slow as a team on the road as as you did yesterday?
Well, I think the majority, if not all the games this year, we've started slow. I know as a defense, we came out, got a 3 and out, was able to get a sack on the third down through that. But, we weren't able to capitalize on that momentum and play complementary football. And obviously we weren't able to stop the run at all yesterday. And I think that obviously allowed them to not really have to, take those shots and throw the ball like that because we couldn't stop the run. So, yeah, just speaking of our road games, we just haven't figured out how to win on the road just yet. And, when you go on the road, you have to pack a good defense, a good run defense, and you have to start fast and score points on offense. And we haven't been able to do that just yet this season.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Kevin, I'd just like to lean on your experience again. In your experience, is it tougher nowadays to kind of insulate yourself from kind of outside noise and criticism and just keep everything inside and get out of these ruts? Is it more difficult with all the questions we're asking right now, last night, everything? Is it, and just in general, is it become more difficult to do that, to overcome that? Does that become part of the problem?
No, honestly, I just like you said, with the experience, I think it becomes easier because you have experience with, ups and downs of a season and everything isn't always going your way. So for me, I just tend to focus on what's true, and I tend to focus on what's in front of me, and I tend to focus on the guys and the coaches that's in our building. And the outside noise is going to be there. There's nothing you can stop that. It's all about how you manage distractions and manage things that come about throughout the year, whether it's in the building or outside the building. So I just tend to focus on what's important, tend to focus on what needs to be focused on. And that's obviously correcting the things that we need to correct so we can go out here and get a win. And like you said, get out of this rut.
Thank you.
Mark Grody.
Just because of the expectations that this team has had, Kevin. I mean, a lot of people thought, maybe still think the Bears are gonna, be a playoff team and be well over 500 this year. To that end, does it make you understand, and do you think your teammates understand as we always use the word, the outside noise? I mean, is it understandable, or are you guys getting ambushed?
No, I mean, I think expectations are it's meaningless. You know what I mean? Expectations outside the building and the expectations we have for ourselves means nothing. It's all about action. And as of right now, we're a 500 team. You know, and that's just where we are. You know what I mean? So doesn't matter about what we expect. It's about we go out there, improve, and execute on game day. What we do every single day in practice, in the meetings, in the weight room, and all the things that we do. We are going to set an expectation. We are going to set a standard, but it's about living up to that every single day. And like you said, you can set as many standards and expectations as you want to, but it has to be shown through action.
Steve?
Hi, Kevin. If you've had a chance to look at the film, what happened on that run by Connor at the very end of the first half?
It wasn't Connor. It was running back 31. I'm not sure of exactly his name. But obviously, we just didn't execute the call. I mean, the guy pretty much was untouched till he was 10, 12 yards down the field. I know Booker tried to get a hat on him, whatever, but and then also, as a safety, I got to try to find a way just to try to get the guy down. But at the end of the day, I know Coach Matt took blame for the call and things like that, which he's shown to take accountability for those things. But like I said before, at the end of the day, we had to execute what's being called, and we didn't execute it at all.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Kevin, you guys have handled injuries pretty well on defense throughout the year, but was Sweat's absence a little bit of a straw that broke the camel's back? It just seemed like, I know he's a pass rusher, but the run defense really suffered, and just in general, the defense suffered without him.
Well, I think it's hard to say. Obviously, we know Sweat is a fantastic player, one of our leaders, one of the guys that you need out there every single week. But I mean, they ran the ball 30 some times, ran for over 200. I'm not sure if he would have been involved on every single play. So yeah, it's tough to say if his absence would have helped us stop the run. A lot of it was just not misfitting gaps and things like that, not adjusting to the things that they were doing. So and they just kept running it because we couldn't stop it.
Last question, Adam Hogue.
Kevin, after the game yesterday, Caleb said something about that you guys probably could have done a better job of moving on from the Hail Mary last week, a little bit quicker. Did you sense that too, kind of through the week and going into the game yesterday, that was still kind of lingering?
Not me personally. I had moved on from it after Wednesday, or after the Monday and Tuesday media cycle and all that stuff. I had moved on from it. I was completely focused on this upcoming week and trying to go out there and win a ball game. Last week was last week and this week was this week. We just got our butts whooped, you know what I mean? So I just think that when you lose in that type of fashion, things are immediately pointed back to last week and the things that happened. But, when you watch the film, I don't see anything from last week that affected this game. We just lost. We didn't play well enough on either phase of the game, and the Cardinals did. So you got to give them credit. You can't sit here and be like, oh, well, it's because of this excuse or that excuse. No, we just lost the game. And I don't want to point to anything that happened last week because, like I said, I don't think it had any effect on this game.
Awesome. Thank you, KB.
Yeah, no problem.